Hello and welcome back to my channel, the best place to be to discover exactly how your thoughts and your emotions are affecting your whole health. Hi, I'm Andrea Coulter, and this week I'm talking about that one great thing that's gonna fix you of everything, or at least that's what we often think. I know I did, and maybe I was just crazy delusional, but maybe you did too. So have you ever had like a really bad trauma or an accident or an injury or an illness in your life that you just never really recovered from? Or maybe you even got on a whole bunch of medication for and you just couldn't get off that medication. No matter how hard you tried and no matter how many different therapies you tried or supplements you took or rest you had, you just couldn't seem to ever get over that problem. Have you ever had that? I know I have. So what do? Well, we just keep taking more supplements, we keep trying different therapies, or maybe we keep doing the same therapy over and over, hoping that the next time you go, it's gonna fix it. Yet it doesn't. You ever wonder why that is? Now, most of us realize that yes, conventional medicine doesn't really fix your problem. That when you go to conventional medicine, no matter what the reason is, that they're going to give you some drugs and those drugs are going to sort of make those symptoms go away. But they don't really fix the problem because, well, you have to be on the medication so that the problem stays away. Well, that just means that you're suppressing the symptoms and you're palliating them maybe at best. Or maybe you've gone the natural route and you've done these therapies and they tell you that, yep, we're just going to do this and it's going to fix your problem and it's never gonna come back. But what happens is you have to keep doing that therapy. You have to keep taking all those supplements. You have to stay on that special diet. Because the second you stop all of that, it's like holding yourself up by dint of incredible effort with a crutch. So you're holding your health up here, like Atlas. And then when you decide, okay, I can't keep doing this, I can't keep affording to do this, I don't want to keep taking all this stuff, so I'm just gonna let them go because I feel pretty good. Well, as soon as you let it all go, next thing you know, all of your symptoms come back, you feel like crap again, and in fact, sometimes you have even more symptoms or you feel off in a whole different way. Do you ever wonder why that is? So here's the problem with that theory or belief. Is that if we think that one thing is going to fix us of everything or cure us of whatever the issue is, we're sadly mistaken. Yet we all buy into this. I know I did too. We just hope that that next one amazing thing is gonna fix us. That one next supplement or that one next type of therapy or that one special diet is gonna do it all. There is no just one thing that is going to fix us of all of our woes. Because if you've been following me along, or if you haven't, one thing we have to be aware of is that we are a very multifaceted being. We have all kinds of different layers that are going on all at once. And just trying to fix one thing, and even if it's a conglomerate of symptoms with one thing, is never going to work. So when it comes to having lasting results with your healthcare, there's definitely been a lot of things that we've been fed a false bill of goods. We've been misled, we've been lied to, or we just haven't yet found the answer. So in this video, I'm going to talk about all of the things that conventional medicine and natural medicine can and can't do for us, and the two big ways that they fail us when it comes to actually helping us heal and recover for good. So stick around. So I beamed down that slippery slope, as I said, of conventional medicine. Went that route, had all the specialists come up with all these different drugs that were going to help me in my pain, and I just got addicted to pain meds. I didn't solve my problem at all. In fact, I just got worse. So then I went a different route. So then I went more natural and cleaned up my diet, did some detoxes. I've told this story before, but it did make a big difference. And I did feel better for a while. But after a while, it didn't matter, like I said, how much I kept up all of this, I still just didn't feel great. Even though I felt good on one side, on the other side, I was not feeling so good. And so I went on a bit of a journey, and I discovered that, even though I'd fixed so much on my physical chemical side through diet and regimen and nutrition and supplements and all of these things, the one side I hadn't actually addressed yet was the mental and emotional component. How my thoughts and my emotions and old beliefs were actually still keeping me stuck in my health issues. Because as you know, I'm all about our thoughts and our emotions affect how our physical body is going to act and react. Just as our physical body, if not in good health, affects how we feel and we think. What I'd done is I had fixed the quantity of my health, but I hadn't fixed the quality of my health on a day-to-day basis. So I really started to look at this other aspect. I looked at different avenues. I actually applied to a course and started taking this new course so that I could really get my health and life back on track and in a way help other people in my life as well. And I'll tell you some of the most amazing things I've learned along the way. Now I'm only going to do part of it in this video, so make sure you ring that bell and stick around because I'm going to do a number of videos in this series that are going to kind of keep unfolding this information and knowledge for you. But for starters, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Let's look at how conventional medicine kind of came to be today and why and how it's failing us. So, yep, there's always a time and a place for conventional medicine. I'm not an anti-conventional medicine person. I would certainly never poo-poo it. You're having a heart attack, you go to the hospital. You don't call me. You're in a major car accident and you need surgery or you need life-sustaining help and support. You go to the hospital. That's where they are at their absolute best. However, when it comes to day-to-day managing your health and wellness and recovering your health and wellness, that's where a different type of medicine and healing comes into play and where we have to really start to recognize what and how do we absolutely address our health in the right way. Did you know that there are all kinds of natural laws that we are subject to as human beings here on earth and that they play into our health and wellness? It's no different than gravity. Gravity is a natural law. You can't deny that it's not there, that it does not affect you. Well, you could pretend that it's not there and you could delusionally think that I'm going to jump off this building and gravity's not going to affect me today. I'm going to be okay. Maybe not a really wise idea because natural laws are simply and always a natural law and you can't really do anything about it, but you can learn how to function and manage within it. And so I'm going to go over a couple of laws today, but I'll go over more in the next few videos. But to start with, let's look at how conventional medicine got off track. And after I had heard and had this explained to me, it was kind of like, oh, that actually makes sense. So way back when conventional medicine was first being established, this genius called Hippocrates had these laws that he stated were very specific when it came to health and wellness. And he stated that the law of similars was the curative law and the law of opposites was the healing restorative law. And so back in the day, the doctors thought, okay, well, law of similars is what we want because we're going to cure people. So somebody would come in with, say, arsenic poisoning and they go, okay, well, Hippocrates says law of similars, so let's give them a little bit more arsenic and see what happens. Well, they killed people. They killed a lot of people that way. And so, again, or somebody comes in with a concussion and a big goose egg on their head. No amount of whacking them on the head is going to fix them of their head trauma. So they were a little bit baffled by all of this. And so they thought, you know what, okay, I don't know what Hippocrates was talking about over here. We haven't yet figured that out. So let's go in the opposite direction and maybe that will give us some relief. Sure enough, it does. For instance, today, conventional medicine uses anti-medicine as their mainstay. So anything that works against your life force. So when you come in with these symptoms, that's your body's way of trying to fix and heal you and let you know what's going on. They just take a medicine and they suppress it and eliminate it so that, hey, you don't have this problem anymore. Antidepressants, antibiotics, all these blocking agents that work against your life force. That was the way they went, and for them, it basically seemed to help. Of course, I get it, you know, nobody wants to suffer needlessly. We all have pains and aches and so on. And so sometimes conventional medicine is necessary. Absolutely. And sometimes we just want a quick relief. However, if you're not really solving the underlying trauma on every level, and I'm going to go into that, so stick around, then you're not really solving the whole problem. And as we know, suppressing your symptoms, even though it takes away the pain and the aggravation in the moment, it actually has an alter effect, which is creating side effects. Every time you take a medication, you get a side effect, bar none. We know this. Google the side effects for every known drug to mankind, and their lists are phenomenal. I was looking up Advil the other day because I was at this health and wellness fair, and oh my God, every child that came up to me when I asked, what do you do when you feel sick at home? They go, the first thing every kid said is, I take Advil. I was like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Do you know how damaging Advil is to your liver? And we just mindlessly use it. Yet I get it. We don't want to suffer. But I'm going to go into that in another video. So for now, I get why conventional medicine went this route. However, it's not fixing the real problem, and I'll explain why. And it's not just conventional medicine, that even most natural therapies fall under the same misguided principles as well. Because after conventional medicine failed me, well, then I went to naturopathy, which, yep, definitely helped me improve my digestion. It got rid of my general aches and pains that were related to diet and nutrition and my lifestyle at the time. But as I said, after a while, it didn't matter. It didn't matter how much I took care of myself in that regard. The other issues just started creeping back in. So what do? Just like everybody else, we start searching for another support. So I looked for more supplements and I changed my diet yet again. Added more superfoods, thinking this was gonna be it. You know, we all believe that I'm gonna finally find that one thing that just fixes me of everything. I was gonna finally free myself of all my health concerns. However, here's the deal. There is no one magic bullet that's going to fix you of all your woes. I wish there was. I truly do. And wouldn't that be awesome? It really would. But it's not the case. And here's why. Because did you know that we have a dual life force? So it's not just one amazing life force. That this actual life force is a dualistic combination of two very distinct sides that work together as a whole. This just blew me away when I learned this. It's like in life we have all kinds of functional dualities. You know, you can't have light without darkness. It's a full day. You can't throw something up without it coming down. Well, because we have gravity. But in and out, up and down, heavy and light, all of these functional dualities make up a whole aspect of something. So just like that, our life force is dual in nature, and each side actually functions in a very distinct and different way. And did you know each side takes very different laws and principles to actually heal and recover it? And this is why when you often hear about someone that, you know, has a very similar issue as you, and they go, oh my God, I went and I did this one therapy, or I took this specific supplement and totally got better. Who knew? It was amazing. Yet you go and you try that exact same thing and you get nothing. You're like, well, why doesn't it work for me? I don't understand. Well, that's because even though they seem to have the same issue as you, there's usually different underlying causes and reasons for that issue. And so what helps that person isn't going to help this person over here. So yep, we have this amazing life force, and it's designed to try to keep us always in health in some way. For instance, like let's say you cut yourself or you burn yourself on the convection oven. It's gonna happen. It's first degree burn, and yep, your body's going to create symptoms that are gonna explain that, oh my God, this is what you've done to yourself. You've hurt yourself, you've injured yourself. And immediately the body is going to go to work to fix that problem. First it's gonna show you that there's a problem. You have a cut, you're bleeding, and you're gonna get a scab over it, and the burn, you're gonna get a blister, and it's the body's way of, protecting itself. and saving itself. And while underneath, it's starting to already heal and send out all those little workers that are going to repair and fix. Yes, your body has this amazing way at healing and repairing itself, all without you thinking about it. You know, it's the breathing and the blood and your digestion, all of these things work unconsciously. And that's a wonderful thing, because have you ever noticed that when you actually stop to focus on your breathing, that you tend to block its ability to work? If you do this right now, stop and think about how well you're breathing. You probably stop breathing for a moment. We all do. As soon as you put consciousness into the unconscious aspects of your body, you block it. And that is what we call the sustentative side of your life force. It's the side of your life force that sustains and maintains you in health, but all unconsciously. And yet, it'll do a really good job all on its own if you let it do its thing. However, let's pretend that you break your arm and you don't go and get it repaired. You just let it kind of mend itself all on its own. So say it's like this, right? Well, yes, your body will form a bridge and it'll repair that bone so that it seals itself back up and it's solid again, but it might not be very functional if you haven't gotten it realigned. So there are some things, when there's true damage done to a different side of your life force, it takes an intellectual consciousness, creativeness to fix it. You have to go and get that bone reset. So, and that's what we call damage on the generative or creative side. The cell proliferation, the ability even to think thoughts, is all a very generative aspect, and it's different and separate and distinct from the sustentative, unconscious, life-sustaining side. So that's why when you have something that's only on the sustentative side, and what you do is, this is all about balancing and adding in what's missing or taking away something that you have too much of. Whereas the generative side is all about creation and engendering energy and knowledge and information and growth. So you always first have to determine what side of the life force is actually needing support. Now, don't get me wrong. In general, on a day-to-day basis, both sides need support on some level, because we have this generative creative aspect, which is always being broken down and is disrupted by our thoughts and our emotions. And then you have the sustentative side, which is just always trying to keep us healthy. And we live in a very toxic world. So there's always something that you're depleted of or that you have taken too much of. One thing I see all the time is, especially in diet today, is people getting way too much sugar, which is creating all this inflammation and chronic pain and aches and degeneration. But at the same time, if you don't go over here and fix the thoughts and the belief patterns that are making them feel like this is what they need to do, then you're never going to really solve the whole problem. So another way I always like to explain the two different sides is, aside from that early explanation, is let's say you're out gardening. And it's a really nice, sunny, warm day, and you've been out in the gardens all day, and you've been enjoying yourself so much that you've forgotten to bring water out, and you didn't realize just how long I've been out here. And you go to stand up, and you're like, I'm a little woozy. I've got a little bit of a headache. I feel really tired. I feel crappy. Just so hot. It happens, right? You get a little bit of heat stroke because you've been out too long and you're a little bit dehydrated because you haven't had enough water in the heat. So you go into the house and you cool off and you relax for a while and you drink lots of nice fresh liquid and you feel better. You get water back in and, after a few hours, your headache goes away. You feel better again. You feel re-energized and you're good to go. Well, basically what you've done is you've solved the problem on that sustentative side. You were dehydrated, a little overheated, and a little run down from not resting, and you've fixed it by applying the law of opposites. You added what you didn't have back in, and now you feel better. But let's say you go hiking in the desert and you get lost. You forget your way back and you end up kind of going in circles and further out into the desert for several days. You're lost in the extremes of heat and cold, and you have no food and no water and no shelter. And just when you're feeling like you're not going to make it, you're found and you go taken to the hospital and you rest and you recover. They give you fluids. you know, all of these things to kind of get you feeling better. However, they send you home and you're like, I don't feel great. I still can't seem to get over all this exhaustion. I have all these pains now. I, you know, just don't have the energy I used to. You have all of these issues that have developed that are now on the generative side. You've created cellular damage by that extreme situation. And no amount of rest and cooling off and liquids is going to recover you. This is the realm of medicine, natural medicine that works by the natural law of similars. So opposites is all about rebalancing and replenishing and repairing, or taking away things that are causing the problem. And if that works, great, you fix that problem. But if you haven't fixed the problem, no matter how much you're doing over here, then you need to be looking at this side of the life force. So I'm going to dive a little bit further into medicine that works by natural law in next week's video. So make sure you stick around, ring the bell, subscribe. But for the rest of this week, I want you to stop and sit down, take some time, and write a list of all of the symptoms and issues that you got going on in your life right now. Try to make as extensive a list as possible. Physical and mental and emotional. So by mental, I mean, you know, the thoughts that keep recurring in your life that are keeping you feeling stuck and unhappy. Maybe link them to some sort of old belief structure that you know you maybe inherited in your life. Try to make as extensive a list as you can of all of the things that are affecting you in not a good way in your life right now. And then once you have that list, look at all the things that you've tried or done in the last little while to try to fix those issues. And make a list of those as well. And if you want, you can share them below in the link and I'll maybe go over them with you, or you can certainly reach out and talk to me personally one-on-one. That's what I do. But in the interim, make your lists and then stick around, because next week we're going to dive a little further into these issues and find some better ways for you to actually start solving those issues. Again, if you've tried this and it hasn't worked, maybe you need to go over here. So again, check out the links below to my website and, you know, take some time and perusing around. And if you have some questions, just reach out and ask me. So hopefully this has given you something to really think about, because let me tell you, when I discovered that amazing healing life force that we all just innately know we have, you know, chi, prana, mana, whatever they call it, and all the different, you know, languages out there, we have this amazing life force. However, it is very distinct and it's dual in nature and requires very different laws depending on where that problem is. And so start to really look at all of the things you've worked on in your life, in your health, and that you've used that worked and what didn't work. And why did it work? I'd like to know. Please share with me below. So for the rest of this week, work on your lists and remember to ring the bell, and I'll see you next week. But until then, remember, be authentic, be empowered, and own it completely. Bye.